In a previous audio, I talked about people that were so stuck up in how they look down on other people, even though they might be going through something. Let me go into detail about that. Now, we know those few people in the family that are very successful. I have no problem with success. Success is a good thing. Everybody wants to be successful at something in their lifetime. But what I have a problem with is that people who are successful, who are so overly proud of themselves that they stick their nose up in the air to everybody around them, and little do they realize that part of their success is probably attributed to the people that they're being stuck up about. Let me give you a case in point, and you could probably relate. Let's say that you have someone in your family that has a lot of education and became chief doctor at a hospital. This is just an example. They live in a $700,000 house outside of Maryland, and they got an early mortgage on that. They're paying that off. Got 2 cars and a boat. Got a summer home down in Florida somewhere. I mean, they're living pretty well. Living pretty well. They wind up getting a spouse that's at the same level, if not at the level above them, financially. So I mean, they have more resources now. But the problem is with these people is that they only associate with a certain group of people, and they have to have a certain economic status, a certain belief system, and their group of friends is so narrow. It's the same type of people that they associate with. None of them are different. Everybody's cookie cutter. There was a movie back in the 70s, and I think they redid it in the early 2000s, called The Stepford Wives. And that puts me in the mind of the society that they were in, because there would be people that would move into the neighborhood, and the wives would get together, and eventually the wives were programmed all to be the same, and there was a real sinister plot behind that. So those of you who don't know, go ahead and look up The Stepford Wives, the one that was made back in the 70s, and also the new one. I think Nicole Kidman was in that one, and that was made in the 2000s, but the storyline was the same. And that's what puts me in the mind of those people, because those people are associated like that. Everybody thinks the same. Everybody goes to the same school. I mean, they just all in general have the same type of lifestyle. But the problem, and there's nothing wrong if you like that type of lifestyle, but the thing is, anyone outside of that, they view this person as wrong. They view this person as they're crazy. Something's wrong with them, or they look at them as dirty or cheap if they're not on the same level that they're in. They're at that level of snobbery. Well, the problem is that these people fail to realize that they're human just like everybody else. So them so-called crazy, dirty people or whatever, they might have the same experience as a so-called clean and snobbish person. You could have the same experience regardless of what your financial or educational background could be. Life will throw you a curveball, and life doesn't care about that. That's something that man cares about. And let's say that these two people are related. But, the snob doesn't even associate with anybody that doesn't have a 6-figure income or anything like that. They don't keep in contact with them, not even out of courtesy, not even to say happy birthday or even say Merry Christmas. Barely will do that. So let's say they run into a problem in the household. They find out that one of the children is on drugs. And like I said, this is all hypothetical. Well, they had those 1 or 2 relatives in the family that by the grace of God, not only were they involved in the addiction, but they actually lived to tell the story, and that are actually clean and living productive lives, okay? These people could be a resource to them to kind of help them navigate through getting help for this child. But because that family member is so snobbish and so stuck up, they actually don't even consider this person in their mind. And if they do, they won't have anything to do with them. They're putting their socioeconomic status ahead of helping their own family. They haven't spent any time with that person. They haven't even acknowledged that person. Or maybe deep down they're afraid to even talk to that person because they know they haven't treated that person well and afraid that person might not help them. That's a gamble that they took. I say this to say this, people. There's nothing wrong with being happy with your success, and I've mentioned this in previous audios, but when you get to the point where you purposefully mistreat people because you think they're better than, you're better than them, that's a problem. Because a situation is going to come up one day that you cannot handle. And those same people that you stepped on, you're going to need their help, and they're going to think about how you treated them. So don't get so caught up, because these people are caught up. And whatever you have today, don't get it twisted. Every single day you hear about somebody that's filing for bankruptcy or has been caught on racketeering charges or going to jail because of some kind of fraud or become some criminal activity. Didn't matter how many millions or billions they had, they're locked up and they're gone. And that perfect lifestyle is gone. And who's ever left around, the wife, the husband, the children, or whoever that person left behind, all of a sudden they're going to have to go back to those people that they stepped on for help because they can't maintain what they have. See, what happened is not only did they disrespect these people, they destroyed that person's trust in them. It's a lot. And what's even worse, you have some of these that'll go around and talk about how blessed they are and they bring God into the picture. That's a dangerous game to play, people. Trying to imply that you're more blessed than someone else because they're struggling. You don't know what they're going through because you haven't taken the time to figure it out. And that day is going to come for you where you're going to need them same people that you stepped on. My mother used to always say, whoever you meet going up, show respect because you're going to see them coming back down. And that's all I've got to say. Have a great day.